and today I am doing try a chapter. I'm going to try the first chapter of each of these 5 books, and I have to get rid of one of them. I have a lot of books that I kind of picked up on a whim. It's only 50 cents. It's a used bookstore or, a library book sale, and you can get a lot of cheap used books. And I tend to just grab everything in sight when I'm at one of those sales because, hey, it's only 50 cents. It's only $1. And so I end up with a lot of books that when I really sit down and think about it, years later, do I really even care about that book? Do I even really want to read it? Thus, the try a chapter is perfect for me because I'm going to try the first chapter of some of these books and actually decide, do I want to read it? So these are the 5 books that I have chosen for this try a chapter, and my rule is, not a rule, but I try to get rid of at least one of them. At least one of these, I'm just going to say, you know what, it's not for me, at least at this time, it's not for me, and I just have better things to read at this moment. So one of these is The Knight, the Harp, and the Maiden by Kahele Bush. Anne Kahele Bush. That's her name, yes. Lady Julienne rejects a marriage proposal from the evil Thurge Lindos, and the wizard casts a spell that forces the young noblewoman to flee her family, friends, and even kind strangers because the curse destroys anyone who helps her. Ooh, that actually sounds pretty cool. And I do like the cover, classic fantasy stuff. Sounds pretty interesting. We're going to try it. We're going to see how we like it. Wings of Flame by Nancy Springer. So I have read other books by this author, but those were YA books. And I'm not sure how I'm going to like this author. It looks like your basic fantasy. So it's kind of a different style than I'm used to from this author. I'm not sure how I'm going to like that. Let's see. The nations of Deva and Vashti share no history and no customs, but they all worship the horse god. But the rituals and magics of one people were the heresies to the other. 3 people must confront the curse of the nameless one. That sounds completely idiotic. But you never know. Sometimes the best books sound really stupid when you describe them, and then they end up being wonderful. So you never know. Lark Light by Philip Reeve. This says, it's a rousing tale of dauntless pluck in the farthest reaches of space. And you can kind of see there, well, it's very reflecty. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like some kind of, space type stuff. This looks like it'll be really funny. Like it looks like it's very humorous, The Rising Star of Rusty Nail by Leslie M. Bloom. Now, obviously, it's going to be something to do with piano, and I am a pianist, and that is why I grabbed this. But actually, I don't know what it's about at all. A 10-year-old piano prodigy living in Minnesota, a bizarre cast of characters in a backwater farm town. So it's supposed to be like small town America. Aren't we cute? But hopefully the music, elements of this will endear it to myself as a musician. We shall see. Rune Marks by Joanne Harris. In Maddie Smith's world, order rules. The chaos, the old gods, fairies, goblins, magic, and glamours, all of these were supposedly vanquished centuries ago, but Maddie knows that a small bit of magic has survived. So that sounds interesting. This looks like it's probably YA. 500 years after the end of the world, and goblins had been at the cellar again. So that looks like fun. I don't know, this one, the cover doesn't grab me, but the description sounds interesting. So now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read the first chapter of each of these, and then I'm going to come back and tell you what I think and whether or not I'm going to continue reading. unsure about several of these. Larklight, I am definitely going to read. It looks really silly and hilarious and imaginative and fun. These people are living in outer space and they're complaining that it's so boring in outer space. And why can't they go to Earth where they could go to parties and have fun? And so, of course, you know, the second that they say that it's boring, some crazy adventure is about to begin. It looks really, really cute and hilarious. And what really got me is the map of their space home. And everywhere around it says, "This way up." So I think that's pretty fun. This looks really imaginative. I'm definitely going to read this one. The other one that I'm definitely going to read is Rune Marks. The very first scene is where, what's her name, Maddie, has caught a goblin stealing ale down in the cellar, and she tries to use magic to bind him, like to, you know, so that he can't run away. So far though, this looks really interesting. I like Maddie's character. She's already sort of fun and resourceful, and I like the magic and everything. So this one is a definite yes. The other three, I just feel like I'm not quite sure, and maybe I want to read a little further than just the first chapter in order to make a decision. So The Knight, the Harp, and the Maiden is very explainy in the beginning. There's this really long explanation of like this wizard, and then he's serving this queen, and they are up to no good. And so I feel like, okay, can we get past some of this setup and really get into the story? So I might try to read a little further on this one before I make a decision. This one is kind of the same as well. Lots of explainy stuff in the beginning. It's these two nations, and they both worship horses, but they seem to differ on, you know, how to do that. And so there's a lot of like explaining stuff with that. And the main character is masquerading as a boy, and she is like an outcast in society. So I'm not really sure what kind of direction this is gonna take. So I don't know, we'll give it another little while, we'll see. And then The Rising Star of Rusty Nail, there's been nothing so far about music. There's no mention of music in the first chapter at all. In the first scene, there are two girls and they are throwing water balloons at innocent passersby, and then they get caught and they have to mail an apology letter to all of the townsfolk that they hit with water balloons. So far they're just brats, and there's no music, and I don't know, it's just not very appealing so far. I might try to just give it a little longer and see when the music comes in. Maybe that part will be really good. So I have 2 yeses and 3 maybes. Maybes. I don't know. Some books it's just hard to tell when you just read that first chapter. It's kind of hard to tell. All right, so I'm back again. I took a little break and did some more reading, and I've made my decision. So I read through chapter 3 of this one and decided I am going to continue reading Wings of Flame. After that first chapter, it really started to pick up, and they're just off on this adventure, and I'm already really loving how imaginative it is. There are these strange winged creatures who sort of look like a horse, but they're kind of not. And then I think this one is like the god of the horses or something. So I'm already hooked into the world building and the characters. Definitely going to keep reading this one. And then I read a little bit more from The Knight, the Harp, and the Maiden and decided, wow, this is not for me. This is just not at all anything I'm interested in. The writing is very wordy. It's like all of these similes and just all of these descriptions and stuff that are completely unnecessary. Just get on with the story already. Why are you bogging down the pacing with so much description of like every single little thing? So I did not like the writing style in this the further I went into it. And then it just has some adult content in here that I was like, you know what? Nope. If they're already into the adult content within like the first 30 pages, then you know it's probably just gonna get worse. So that's a definite no. I read through chapters 2 and 3 of this one, Some of it I kind of skimmed a little, but then I did finally get to a scene where the main character has a piano lesson and she hates her piano teacher. And I was like, what? No. But actually, her piano teacher is really horrible. Like, she just fell asleep during the girl's lesson. I mean, I'm a piano teacher. This disturbs me, okay? Oh my goodness. If you guys knew me like in real life, then you would know how passionate I am about teaching, how much I pour into my students, how I design a thoughtful lesson for each student based on their learning style. And I choose music specifically for them and what I think they will enjoy. I mean, I love music. I love my students. I love teaching. And I pour my heart and soul into it. And then to read about a teacher who literally just falls asleep during the lesson and just doesn't even care and doesn't even give any instruction, this is making me upset, okay? So I am really hoping that as I continue reading this, she will get a new piano teacher who will inspire her to be a magnificent pianist. So I'm hoping that we've had this really terrible beginning because it's going to get better. So I am going to keep reading this one. So these two maybes have turned into yeses, and this one has turned into a big fat no. So be on the lookout for my final reviews of all of these in my next month's wrap up. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.